Hello and welcome to Pushing Back, Ukraine Daily Brief. As the war enters its 853rd day, these are the main developments from the past 24 hours. The update from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russia has lost approximately 538,060 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of the war. The number, which has not been independently verified, includes 1,220 casualties over the past day. According to the released Ukrainian figures, Russia lost 4 tanks, 19 armored combat vehicles, 40 artillery systems, 22 drones, 45 vehicles, and 6 pieces of special equipment. The Russians launched 123 combat clashes and carried out 43 airstrikes, including 60 anti-aircraft missiles on the territory of Ukraine. They also used 368 kamikaze drones and carried out 2,700 attacks on the positions of Ukrainian troops and settlements using various types of weapons. In its latest intelligence update, the UK's Ministry of Defence reports. Members of Russia's parliament are worried about ex-prisoners who fought in Ukraine returning home and committing crimes. They believe these ex-cons are not well adjusted to society and could lead to a rise in violence. Russia started recruiting prisoners to fight in July 2022, and their sentences are reduced in exchange for service. Some lawmakers argue they shouldn't be allowed back until the war is won. There's no official data on crime rates since 2023, but independent media reports violence linked to returning veterans. The Russian government seems willing to accept this risk to continue the war. In its latest intelligence update, the Institute for the Study of War. 2 major international bodies, the International Criminal Court and the European Court of Human Rights, announced decisions on June 25 confirming Russia's long-term perpetration of war crimes and human rights violations in Ukraine. Russia and Venezuela signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at countering coercive measures likely to demonstrate to the West that the Kremlin holds influence in the Western Hemisphere. Ukrainian forces conducted a drone strike on a Russian ammunition depot in Voronezh Oblast on June 25 and recently conducted strikes on Panzer S-1 air defense systems in Belgorod Oblast with unspecified weapons. Russia imposed counter-sanctions against 81 European Union-based news outlets on June 25 following EU sanctions against 4 Russian state-affiliated news outlets on June 24. Dagestan Republic head Sergei Malaikov ordered investigations into the personal records of senior Dagestani officials following the June 23 likely Wielake Kavkaz terrorist attacks in Dagestan, indicating that the Kremlin may be intensifying efforts to address Islamist extremist threats in the North Caucasus as it attempts to maintain a veneer of stability and normalcy. Armenian Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan met with Lithuania-based Belarusian opposition leader Svitlana Tsikhanouskaya on June 20 in Vilnius amid deteriorating Armenian-Belarusian relations. A Russian mill blogger claimed that the Russian Volunteer Society for Assistance to the Army, Aviation, and Navy of Russia will begin training unspecified Russian military personnel on October 1, 2024. Ukrainian main military intelligence directorate head Lieutenant General Kirilo Budanov stated that Western military assistance is arriving in Ukraine, but that it will likely not arrive at a scale that will significantly impact the frontline situation until at least mid to late July 2024. Budanov stated that a sufficient quantity of US-provided long-range ATACMS missiles could allow Ukrainian forces to strike the Russian-built Kerch Strait Bridge in occupied Crimea and sever an important Russian ground line of communication between occupied Crimea and Russia. Current US policy regarding Ukraine's use of Western-provided weapons allows Ukraine to strike anywhere within Russian-occupied Ukraine, which presumably includes using long-range ATACMS to strike the portion of the Kerch Strait Bridge within Ukraine's internationally recognized land and maritime borders. Kremlin officials absurdly attempted to link the June 23 Ukrainian strikes on legitimate military targets in occupied Sevastopol, Crimea, and the likely Islamic State affiliate Wielake Kavkaz terrorist attack in the Republic of Dagestan. The Kremlin is attempting to maintain a veneer of stability and normalcy in response to the Dagestan terror attack. The European Union adopted its 14th package of sanctions against Russia on June 24, including new restrictions against Russian funding to political parties and other opinion-forming organizations and Russian state media broadcasts within the EU. The EU approved a first tranche of up to €1.4 billion, about $1.5 billion, in military assistance for Ukraine from the proceeds of frozen Russian assets. The Kremlin continued efforts to coup former Wagner Group personnel by introducing a new bill that would exempt much of the Wagner force from criminal responsibility for their participation in the Wagner armed rebellion on June the 23rd and 24th, 2023. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky replaced Joint Forces Commander Lieutenant General Yuri Sodor with Brigadier General Andriy Natov on June 24. The Russian Ministry of Defense proposed depriving all Russian military districts of their status as joint headquarters. Ukrainian forces recently regained lost positions in Vovchansk, and Russian forces recently advanced near Siversk and Avdiivka. In Zelensky's nightly video he spoke about three areas. Firstly, European Union membership negotiations. Ukraine has officially started negotiations on EU membership, marking a historic milestone. The first intergovernmental conference has been held, and Ukraine is committed to fulfilling the necessary requirements for accession. Secondly, legal and human rights accountability. There are new developments in the legal battle against Russia, with warrants issued by the International Criminal Court for Shugu and Gerasimov and a ruling by the European Court of Human Rights holding Russia accountable for actions in Crimea. This underscores efforts to hold Russia responsible for its actions. Lastly, efforts toward peace and repatriation of captives. Ukraine is focused on achieving a just peace, evidenced by the increasing number of participants in the joint communique following the peace summit and ongoing preparations for specific peace initiatives. Additionally, significant efforts are being made to bring Ukrainian captives back home, with recent successes in repatriating 90 individuals, showing a continued commitment to securing the return of all Ukrainian prisoners. Thanks for following today's updates. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. We'll return tomorrow with the latest news on the ongoing conflict.